you may notice as part of the program, we have all these gentlemen who, when you introduce them, it's Brother Doctor, or Dr. Brother, Brother Reverend, or Reverend Doctor, Colonel, General. We have so many men of achievement in Catholic. And our hallmark is excellence. But more importantly, achievement. Achievement in itself doesn't quite do it for me, because we're going to achieve at a different level. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm trying to wake everybody up and just make sure we help. I was wondering who he was talking about. I want to meet that guy, you know. But to General James and to all of you distinguished people, and I each and every one of you are distinguished. If you're not in your own mind, you ought to be. This is not a time when any of us can afford not to be proud of being an American, and most specifically an African American. In preparation for coming here, it wasn't just one of those things we do at a website and get all the information, that kind of thing. It's a little bit more to it than that. I said, what's the theme? Is it giving honor to whom is due? Well, honor to God starts first. Then after that, who we honor? But to get your head into the game, my version of it is, you got to do something more than that. Yesterday, my brother who lives here, retired Air Force officer, and my wife and his wife, drove down to Minnesota. I've been to Minnesota many times. My brother taught during our ROTC now after 18 years. We went down there and walked across the bridge to see the Voting Rights Museum. Then look more than that on Wednesday, I was seeing myself. And I almost got up and shouted when the River Region Choir sang. At the end of the movie, if you haven't been, I won't tell you more. You know the story, obviously. They sang the song, and that's what was very moving. It brought me to tears. Because the things that people did in those days and continue to do today are very hallmarks of what liberty and freedom is about. As we go about the world today, people wonder, and I was asked many times, as many of you who serve in uniform, oh, by the way, when they asked the veterans to stand up, I looked around and did a quick count. We have almost as many veterans standing up today in this forum than we have in the United States Congress. Let me say that again. We have almost more today than we had in Congress. Not good or bad. In the days of the draft, we didn't have enough. I was going to talk about that a little later in my remarks. It moved me to say something about it. We have a choice. We can get drafted in the Army and do whatever the Army does. Those of us who wanted to do something different. I wanted to fly. The Army had some opportunities to fly, but as they cut off, gave away the Air Force, and it was getting in the way and taking too much money. It became difficult to do that in the Army. It didn't even there was no people. So we didn't have a lot of options in those days. And if you look at the age group of people, the older ones of us, we all served in the military. Few didn't because they weren't able to, but we all served. But what was really more important than that is the commitment that we all made to this great country. We don't have anything today which causes young people to be as concerned about the liberties and freedoms. Less than 1% of our people serve in the military. Not that that's the right thing to do. We ought to all do something for our country. Well, that's not what I came here to talk about. I want to talk to you about mentoring. I want to talk to you about role models. One of the things that we do is say, what is a mentor? Who is a mentor? Why do we have mentors? Why are they important? I'm going to suggest to you that they not only are important, but they are extremely important. We need somebody to show us the way. What is right, what is moral. What are the standards? How do we get there? How do we prepare ourselves for the world out there? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But as we go down the path of life, we find we're going to have hurdles out there to overcome. All of us. And it's not just African Americans, it's going to be everybody's going to have those hurdles. Not the same ones. Depending on part of the country you live in, what are the issues? And you're going to have to deal with those issues. But I want to talk today about two individuals. I'm not going to say a whole lot about them. You're going to hear most of that. So much of my speech I've got to go through here. Because, and then Paul knows, you know, I don't know what you do. I remember doing some stepping when I was pledging and that kind of thing. But, you know, why can't the press be here to see that? It's not just about the kids who are out there getting in trouble. It is about them. I'm a Boy Scout. Served on the National Cavalry Council in Washington, D.C. because it was important to make sure that the young people get it. I don't know, I couldn't. At least you don't screw it all up. We're going to talk about a little about Dr. Abraham, a true hero in the civil rights movement. One who served with Dr. King. But he also served apart from Dr. King. He got started here as a young minister. Dr. King got started here as a young minister. The Montgomery boycott came about, and Rosa Parks said, Tuskegee native, by the way, said, I'm not going to ride on the back of the bus, and I'm not going to get up out of my seat. I've been working hard all day long, and you know the story. That rolled into something that became a major issue here in Montgomery. But people saw folks standing up to the system and said, go ahead on, Rosa. You know how they are. What became important is you Montgomeryans, at the right term, folks here in Montgomery, they decided, if you're going to treat people who ride the bus that way, we're going to get on the bus. We're not going to ride in the back of the bus. We pay the same fare, and we don't think that's right. So the boycott started, and the term we use today is carpool or ride sharing. But that's what happened. We had a few jitney folks around us, people who charge a little bit of money to take you around. And who is in that business now, with a different professional part to it. But it was all about getting together and staying together. And combining our efforts in a united way to say, we ain't going to take it anymore. Something's got to change. That is not what the law says, by the way. The United States Constitution, which is the law of the land, last time I looked. And don't pay any attention to some of the rhetoric you hear on TV. I mean, it is so far out there. You know, those people can't even pronounce, not being up on legality, those people can't even pronounce the name of some of the countries in which we have our young men and women serving. That is pathetic. At least they ought to be concerned enough about what the United States is doing for the remainder of the world. You do their homework. Don't go by their homework. That's a different chapter. Not a different speech. But you and the local chapter here started 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess, technically. They have a dinner on about that. Now, Dr. Abbott, at any point in his career, he could have given up and said, I'm tired of being number two. I'm tired of doing these things because I'm not getting any credit for what I'm doing. And Dr. King's doing all the work. I have a different outlook on that and a different perspective. My perspective is that in any organization, that happens to be true in my 8 years at the Pentagon and working with General James there and a lot of other folks, somebody's got to go out and tell the story of what we did and what the National Guard is all about and go visit the units and that kind of thing. That usually is the number one person. Mr. Outside. Somebody's got to run the organization day in and day out and make sure that all the things get done. Because when a problem comes up and you're on the road or you're overseas somewhere, somebody got to handle it. That's the number two guy or gal. You know, by the way, we have one of those is the number two in the United States. Maybe. Why can't we understand that it takes an organization to achieve the things that we do in this great country? It's not just the man or the woman at the top. It's about us, we the people of the United States, it says last time I looked at the preamble of the Constitution. It talks about you and me. And you don't get a buy in that business, by the way, because if you just sit around and do nothing, somebody else will do it for you. If you don't make a decision, somebody will do it for you. And it may not be what you want to do. So Dr. Abernathy, and thanks to the family, great to see you all out here to recognize one of my heroes. But it's not a roaring job. You typically don't get a lot of credit for what you do. And those of us who run organizations and have been in positions where we see what needs to be done and who doesn't, no one understands that being a deputy, or a vice, as we say now, the vice we use is the deputy in the military, is a critical job. I mean, I've seen instances where the number 2 person is really running the organization, is the strongest person there, and the front man is out there kind of doing his thing, or her thing, and doesn't really count for a whole lot other than being a mouthpiece. And I don't mean to denigrate people for that. Everybody does what their talents are better to do. And everybody can't be a number 2. But some of the best number 1s have been number 2s and understand. And so I kind of think it's nice. It's kind of like my version of what I say about people in the military. It's important we take a number of the former enlisted personnel and make them officers. Because that way we have some people who in a meeting understand what's going on. The work gets done by the NCOs and led by them. That's important. Dr. Abernathy did a superb job keeping things together. He basically put together the Montgomery Improvement Association, which was kind of a support organization, combining the churches and getting them to work together to make sure that nobody fell out of it. And they preached about it and talked about it. And got people to give some money so they can run the Montgomery Improvement Association. SCLC got started about the same time. Dr. King ran that. Reverend Abernathy became part of that, and number 2, and all the churches here kind of got involved in it. So there was 2 organizations running. Dr. King eventually moved on to Atlanta, and later on, he was doing so many things up there. And Schmidt was around the corner and doing some things, and so Dr. Abernathy finally decided, well, maybe Atlanta might be more. He was running back and forth, by the way, you folks in the cabinet and all the stories there. You may remember that, some of the ones who were not quite as young as the others. It was nice to talk about the rest of the school. But they made it work, and that's the key. He eventually moved over to Atlanta and continued to do that and ran it up until Dr. King's death. You all know, then he took over and ran. He did. Southern region. Christian leadership. But what he did, he never complained. He never said, why not me? Oh, I'm not on this. I didn't get a deputy Nobel Peace Prize. Because they were all about the same thing. He contributed to that. And Dr. King made sure he got some credit for it also. As a matter of fact, in the last speech Dr. King gave in Memphis, he said, and I quote, one of my best friends in this world is Reverend Ralph David. Critical words, because that was the last speech he gave. You say shot down, take it down. But it is any soldiers do in the military. They were organized. So they didn't just stop, the organization fall apart. Like Abernathy stepped up and says, sing me in, Lord, I'll go over. God did, he did. And the rest is history. That's what it's about. People being willing to stand up for what they really believe is right and do whatever is required. Kind of difficult sometimes. We'll switch over now and talk about another one of our heroes. And I'm going to bring the 2 together. I happen to be a real fan of Phil James, both the third as well as Tim Chappie James Jr. You know the story. Pensacola, Tuskegee. He came to Tuskegee as an athlete. Played to wanted to fly. He lived in Pensacola. Navy aviation was born in Pensacola and is still there. When he saw those airplanes flying, he said, I want to go do that. And you saw that in the movie Red Tails. Our young people, raise my hand, What Cameron was seeing there was his mind.